one of the big factors in the happiness of people is if your expectations are exceeded, I think you will live a life that is relatively happy because every year you do relatively better. It's like your site or your program, you
Hmm.
have rising subscribers, so you feel happy about it. And if one day uh, the subscribers go down and the listeners and the audience diminishes, you will feel less happy. And I truly feel sorry for a lot of nice and really hard working class people who were workers or lower middle class people that have a simple job but are decent people. Their standards of living has been going down. Everything that they earn in addition, and in many cases their wages have actually gone down, but where the wages have still gone up a little bit, it's been eaten up by inflation and by increased uh, direct and indirect and hidden taxes.
Right, like inflation.
And I don't say that because I have a grudge. I'm one of these idiotic financial people that have actually benefited from the financial bubble. I'm a profiteer of the system. And I say this with some remorse because it's not right that I've done so well, largely, and I have to say that and admit that, at the expense of ordinary people.
Well, and due to the stupidity of governments, because there are
Yes,
no free markets, so that
yes,
enables you
it's
to,
all
yeah,
manipulated. And Mr. Bernanke is a criminal. A lot of people are decent fellows. They have their money on deposits. Now they get precisely zero interest rates.
yeah, yeah. So I was going to ask you, like, the key to a happy life, because it's been said that money can't buy happiness, but it'll do till the real thing comes along. And obviously, you've had a happy, fulfilling life. And is the key to that to
Well, I also
diminish?
had a lot of shit in my life.
So how do we get to this happiness? Is it where you live? Okay, you're in a
Well, I
great
want to tell you
place.
something. I mean, different people have different views, but I was recently invited to an event for his platinum members by Tony Robbins.
Uh-huh.
And I like him. He's a great motivational speaker. And I'm sure he's helped a lot of people in his life. And the people that were there had a great time and enjoyed everything. And one thing he said, and the theme of this event was really, if you want to have a life satisfaction and some degree of happiness, it helps if you're financially independent. You know that you don't have to wait every month for your salary check to pay your credit card debts and so forth. And I think there is one way to achieve this is not to live beyond your means. I mean, if you only have a salary of $3,000 a month, then you should live maybe like someone who has only a salary of $2,000 and save $1,000 a month. I mean, I don't have cars. Before I got married, I had two Porsches. Now my wife has a Porsche and I have no car. But it doesn't matter. I like motorcycles, so it's fine with me. But you can live modestly. And I know lots of people who are very happy without being rich.
So being rich is, in a lot of respects, overrated. And finally, assuming this economic collapse comes to pass, or it's going to, where do you think, for a Westerner, the best place to seek refuge, the best country to go to? Is it in South America, Costa Rica, Uruguay? Is it in Asia or Australia? Where would a Westerner go if this collapse comes about and they manage to get out before?
How old are you?
I am 54, going to be 55,
Are you
God willing.
single or married?
I'm married and unfortunately have children in the country. Escape, fleeing the country isn't really an option for me as
Yeah,
much
that's
as I'd like
difficult.
to.
but you understand, your question is very personal. Our friends in Switzerland, they go every year on their holidays to Brazil because they love Brazil. Others, they go to Santo Domingo. And most of them who are single and young and enjoy partying and life, they go to Thailand.
Yeah.
So it depends a little bit what you enjoy and the stage of your life. Like if I was 25, when I went to Hong Kong, I was 26 in 1973. And I would do the same. I would go probably today to either Hong Kong, Singapore, Vietnam, Cambodia, Myanmar, China, or maybe India, although I'm not that attracted to the Indian culture per se. And if I'm at my age, I like to live in Chiang Mai because I travel a lot. So when I'm at home, I enjoy the peace here. I still have nightlife here, and it's a nice city. The climate is ideal. It's hot during the day, which I like, and cool at night, and not so humid. And now we have Thai New Year, Songkran, which is characterized by huge water battles on the street. I mean, this is like carnival in Rio. Everybody throws water at each other. You can't walk out of your house without being totally soaked.
That sounds like fun.
Yes, you should come once.
I've been to Thailand 15 years ago in Bangkok. I loved it, and but family. So anyway, Dr. Faber, is there any final advice you have for people as far as the doom when the boom busts? The best thing to be doing?
Well, there's one more point I want to make, and people always think of earning money and of wealth. There's also in knowledge a lot of wealth, and I believe the people that will survive the best is we are in a world that changes dramatically and very fast. Just to think of China, 10 years ago, it had, say, 10% of global nickel, copper, aluminum consumption, and today it's between 40 and 50% in just 10 years. We have huge changes. And I think that we have to educate ourselves every day. And instead of watching basketball, football, and baseball every day, I would think about how do I maintain my relative knowledge, because we have a lot of young people coming up and they have special skills that I, for instance, don't have. I have a computer. I know how to handle it to some extent, but I don't know how to fix it. And so we elderly people, we have to really work on ourselves and try to keep up with the incredible changes that are happening.
Oh, yeah. And there are so many things, and the internet opens up such a world of learning and business that people could never do before. I can
Absolutely.
compete with an international media conglomerate from
Yes.
where I'm sitting here. I'm in Greenwich, Connecticut.
Yes.
I'm looking at the Long Island Sound, and
Yes.
the world is my oyster. I have listeners.
Yes.
People
We
are
also have
listening.
plenty of porno sites.
Yeah, well, the city of Los Angeles is cracking down on that because you're not going to be able to have pornography filmed in the city of Los Angeles without protection, and the porno industry is threatening to move, probably going back to its roots in Thailand or in Sweden, where you have laissez-faire porn, and maybe
But
there's something to it.
there's another point about the economy in the Western world. When I look at when we grew up, you're 54, I'm 66, we were much freer. We had much more freedom.
Yes.
And today there's regulation about this, regulation about that. And that increases the cost of doing business. It wastes your time. And it creates an economy that is far less dynamic.
Yeah, and it winds up having less people employed because employees become such a burden that you're expanding your business, you want to outsource, and you can outsource to any place in the world now and get the best value any job you can, and that's a
Yeah, I
story.
agree with you. I
Yeah.
agree.
So I have a guy in the Philippines who was doing a lot of programming for me, and he
Yep.
could do it while I slept. I mean, whether he did it or not was another story, but it's really an amazing thing that the world has become so much smaller, and the fact that I can sit here in Greenwich and interview you in Thailand, and the world is a totally different place. And
Yeah, it's remarkable.
what you say is that too many Americans, they're interested in American Idol, and they're interested in externalities rather than improving themselves, investing in their own human capital.
Yeah,
And it's never been easier to do it. That's the amazing thing. You
yeah,
could
sure.
sit down today, and in 6 months you could have a degree from a good college in any subject that you want to learn about, and yet they're busy with American Idol. On that note, Dr. Faber, thank you so much for being
It's
on.
my pleasure.
Uh,
Thanks a lot.
and your site again for your report, it eludes my limited memory cells that are left.
Boomboomdoom.com.
Gloomboomdoom.com, and
Yeah.
your nickname is Doctor Doom, but I don't see it that way.
Well, the original Doctor Doom was, I mean, still a friend of mine, was Henry Kaufman in the
Oh,
70s.
sure.
He was bearish about the bond market. And Al Wojnilower, who was at first Boston, he was called Dr. Death because he was even more negative than Henry Kaufman. And so I have to give to Henry Kaufman the credit for the original Doctor Doom.
Well, nowadays, if you look back, just like JFK was a conservative, Henry Kaufman was an optimist if you compare him to people today, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yes, I agree. Okay,
All right,
nice
thanks
talking
so
to you.
much. You be well, and
Bye-bye.
we'll talk to you
Take
again
care.
soon.
Bye-bye.